Okay, here we are once again, December 7th, and Blanche and I are here, Scott's not here. Paul Alt is gonna start off with his thing.
We're just plowing roads.
Sanding roads.
You know, sanding more than anything, right? Other than that, there's just not a lot going on right this second because it's too wet to do anything. We did get some road blading done last week from out on the Middle Fork and some down in the Lower Valley as well, or not the Middle Fork, but the bottom of the Rock Creek. So that's kind of what we got going on. We brought the back one from the dump yesterday and put a lower stair on it for make it easier to climb in and out of. She's kind of got a bad shoulder
In the drawing.
in Hall,
Oh.
Peeper.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make it a little more operator friendly, you know.
Okay.
We'll go get the one from Drummond next Monday and service it. Just easier, they're closed and it gives us an opportunity to get them picked up and take them to the shop. And get them once over, so. For winter, we hope. The new truck's coming along. They're working on that, still waiting for some hydraulic parts and stuff. But it's, at least it's in progress. I would expect Christmas maybe to get it picked up, I hope. If all goes well. But everybody's having a hard time getting any parts
Yeah,
for everything.
that's what I hear.
We're gonna tomorrow probably we got another 300 feet of fence to put up there on the snow fence.
Oh, okay.
And we're stapling all that in. That's just gonna, that'll just last forever,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
I do not-
Speaking of fence, did those posts get taken care of?
They did.
Good.
Yeah, that's all took care of. And you probably see we gathered up all the old fence that was out in front, put it on the back. So that
Good.
added up. You just can't get any of it. We're still gonna be probably 200 feet short.
No,
Maybe we get it in a month, maybe we get it when we get it, you know.
Black Pine, did the guy do anything on Black Pine? I saw a note from Cameron that he did the Forest Service roads, and I don't think we've had an agreement with him yet. We told him.
We don't have an agreement. Apparently Cameron doesn't yet either.
Is this the one that was here last week?
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I just got that yesterday. I don't know when he would have plowed. There was nothing to plow,
There
so I
wasn't
don't
any plow on
understand
the
that.
Forest Service either. I mean,
No,
as much.
but I thought
Me yesterday.
Hmm?
He contacted me yesterday. He's gonna be getting a hold of you, Paul, to talk to you about what he is planning to want to plow this winter. And then he is planning to fill out the agreement and get on the agenda to request to plow. So he called me yesterday.
Okay, so he didn't follow that, I'm pretty sure.
no, I thought when I leave here, I'll run off there anyway. But there was nothing to plow until today.
I can't remember, why doesn't he go off the association roads? He's part of the association.
No. No, he's not. And that road, that Sharp Tail Lane, I think it is, you know, that goes out to that Black Pine Road beyond kind of where he is. But they've had that blocked off forever because people ride their side by sides and stuff in through their association. they've
No,
got
where is
logs
this off the
across
Marshall
it.
Creek Road? You know where it goes down? On the Forest Service
Up.
Road, goes up Black Pine.
Yeah, and then it goes off, yeah.
Is that the one he's plowing?
No, he'll be coming right out onto our Black Pine, main Black Pine Road.
But
But
what Forest Service Road is it? probably gonna be?
that one, that's got the closure.
Oh, beyond that closure?
Yeah. He's the next He's the next road up from that. You know where the low one hits that closure gate? He's the next one up.
I haven't been up there 20 years.
Yeah, but anyway, he's,
So is that email from Cameron
they tried to get us to plow that sharp tail lane,
in our correspondence?
that sharp tail lane, you know? It's not sharp tail, it's something else in a subdivision. We've turned down, we're not doing any subdivision work. Why would we do that?
No, we will.
No, that's what I'm saying, we,
No.
yeah,
So what about the subdivision?
they gotta plow their own, but now according to this email, they're saying that they'll let him go through that or something. But that's nothing to do with us.
No,
So the email from Cameron, is that in
No,
our
I got that.
correspondence?
It isn't, 'cause I got it from Blaine.
Yeah, Blaine sent it. Did you read it?
Yeah.
yeah, and by reading that, I thought, I'm so confused. with what's
Yeah.
going on there. And I thought, well, he's part of subdivision because he could go on subdivision. That's the way that email worked to me. I guess he's not part of subdivision. But he could probably still go out that way,
Sounds like you probably could.
but they probably wanna,
Why, I guess my question is, why does this person care so much that wants him to go out to subdivision? What is his big grief? If the Forest Service in Granite County says he can plow the road, why does the other people care?
He's a good neighbor.
why do the people in the subdivision care, like that one guy?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing with people that get a hold of us, and you have to listen to them because,
right.
yeah,
But for me, if I lived there, it'd be a pain to do the marsh creek road. And then everybody else would be using it all winter. And then you're responsible for it. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, who would follow?
And
so what's your feelings on that? I guess can't discuss it until he gets on the agenda. With this
my
permit.
feelings are like we tell everybody, get this paper that says we can do it to these specs and let them go. But they're responsible for it. But on that note, it doesn't no good to plow our road if Cameron's not giving them one to get to our road. Because you gotta go Forest Service first.
Right,
So,
so when we work with the Forest Service, correct?
yeah, and I'll be talking to Cam.
Okay,
See what, because
yeah,
that, I also read that email and it's,
well, yeah, if you're confused and I'm always confused, then, just kidding. Maybe visit with Cam and see,
I'm gonna for sure.
okay.
I'm gonna get a hold of them and see, are they giving them that permit to get through there? And I'm sure they are. You know. There's something going on with these guys that,
There's,
so. But, I mean, they were here and we've had a meeting and it's very clear that no one can plow a
yes,
county road without coming in here and getting
Yes.
this paper. So there's no mystery to that,
we have a permit in place.
right? So
It's been, people have been notified, I'm sure. I mean,
it's been in the paper and
Yeah.
it's.
morning,
Well,
Blaine.
So, what else?
Winter's here, huh?
Hmm?
Winter's here, huh?
A little bit.
Need about that, huh? No,
Yeah, help for next summer.
right.
It looked like on the webcam for the roads up at Georgetown, it's not totally full. I haven't been up there lately.
Yeah.
No, it isn't frozen. The lake
It
isn't.
isn't.
No.
not completely,
I was
yeah.
noticing that yesterday. I was going, oh my goodness, it's not even. I thought, when does it freeze?
It's
Usually,
supposed to be closed by now.
that's what I thought.
Well, it tried a while ago, you know, and then
Yeah.
we got that
Or whatever.
65 degrees. Found
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Fish can go and get some air.
Always thinking.
Let's see. Anything else?
Nothing.
Well, what do you think about consolidating that? Oh, we gotta go into that. consolidating the loans for the equipment, trucks.
I don't know if I can-
That's on the next.
A very
agenda.
good idea.
it's just-
That was the
I
auditor's
sent you a
idea to
packet.
try to reduce
see
the
that.
interest rate a little bit there, and the interest rate was pretty good on
Yeah.
it, if it could be better.
1.6 for the year, I think is what the website said.
So I guess we're gonna move into that a little early. 'cause
Okay.
it's with them. What was the interest rate? I didn't catch it.
We go to the website, I think it's 1.6.
1.65%,
What
5
we
years,
paying?
and 1.65 for 4 years.
Not to keep it up with inflation.
Yeah.
Even the current interest rate is what
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, I have to go, I did a couple different, like on that front page, I did a couple of different, there's a calculator on the website that the Intercap website through the department.
Well, absolutely, looking at what the interest rates are on our current loans,
Yeah.
this is a no-brainer.
What are they on our current loan?
It's right at the top of the,
I don't have it. Oh, it's all here.
Yeah, so I just did like a couple different calculations and calculated out what we have now on this page.
so is there any difficulty in filling it out? Do we have to do anything special? Do we have to?
It looks pretty simple and I think I can work with Sarah and
Yes, and
Do it.
Vicky might be able to help you a
Yeah.
little bit too.
I can't, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a
So-
no-brainer.
So probably just a motion to apply for it and we'll see if we get it. I'm sure, we're guessing we'll get accepted and be back on the agenda for the.
And then in that packet as well, there's a sheet that has what their interest rates have been throughout the years. And I think they change every February.
Now, can that interest rate go up? That new one?
I think they,
Well,
So
our
depending on what the contract is,
Yeah.
likely it'll be fixed, I think.
Yeah. as long as we apply and are approved before February, I believe it's not gonna change every February 16th.
So what you're saying here is you have two loans.
I just calculated out different years, like depending upon what the year rate would be.
So you can't consolidate the whole thing or what?
I think you can consolidate the whole thing. So I just did like, this is if we did it for a 5-year term. or a
Oh,
4-year
okay. I
term.
thought there were two loans that you were gonna,
How many loans are there? There's
There are,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
2020 excavator, Rio loader, cat 1, cat 2, truck 3, truck 4.
But these cats, for the payments 31,883 and 31, that's not a buyback. You know, in there, where it says that you owe that 269 on them, just say, for example, on cat 1, it says owe 269. We're paying that 31,000 a year, and they have a guaranteed buyback on that for 160 or 180,000. I don't know. I don't have the paperwork.
So if you needed to trade in the cat, if the cat was running really good, why get another loan on
So-
the cat?
But what I'm saying is we pay the 31, we don't pay the 269.
What do you mean?
Well, we have like 3 years left, so that's
At
90,000
31 a year,
at 31 a year.
and then they'll buy it back and then we'll go lease. Is this a lease type thing?
Just to buy, yeah,
So
It's a
then
government.
at the end of that, if we just choose to purchase it
then we can purchase it. We can purchase it or
For-
trade it.
for a bigger amount or is it paid off?
No, it won't be paid off.
So what you're saying, when you get to consolidate those, then basically the county buying them versus
Right.
using their
Yeah.
deal. So some might not want to include all of them in this consolidation though.
Yeah, or, I mean,
So it's consolidating the 269 that's actually owed on it, right? That we'd have to pay off to keep it instead of trading it in for a new cat.
yeah. Or,
And what year is that cat?
a 19, I think.
the paperwork's in the packet.
So would your advice be not to consolidate the,
Well,
Two
I'm
of
just
those.
thinking that we need this paid off and we need to recoup that fund.
I mean.
And we
yeah,
don't need to be trading a cat off because we can, if it's, nothing's wrong with it.
It,
I mean, you can use a cat for more than what, 5 years before you have to trade it off?
well, it's just all what we're doing. They've been in this buyback deal forever, as far as I know. It, to me, doesn't make any difference to me one way or the other. I mean, if it's good, it's good. But all I'm saying is if you consolidate that and you pay that off, do you lose that guarantee? And I don't know that.
Yeah, we'd have to
Through
check into it.
capital.
Well,
I
here's the-
imagine you would.
okay,
I would
so,
imagine.
Yeah, you would, because you're just paying it off.
yeah.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
pay it
yeah.
off, because whether you lose the guarantee or not, you're gonna have something paid for.
Right,
So what you're saying is we have a guarantee that they'll buy back and give us 168,000 on a new one.
number,
so-
yeah, I don't know, just the exact
Pretty
number,
much,
something like that,
Yeah,
right.
turning a 19 or 2019 cat in for a 2024 or something.
Right,
But the 2019 cat still is in good shape. And we're poor for the fund. So what I'm saying is consolidate, get it all paid off. There's gonna be another deal out there and they're gonna approach us and say, hey, if you need a new cat, let's do this, is what I'm saying.
right, and it could be either way, better or worse, you know what I mean?
What
It's just-
we're
who
saving
knows?
here
You know,
is
a shitload of money,
buco, yeah,
yeah,
big bucks.
yeah, I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody was aware that
Hmm.
Yeah.
our
Oh, yeah.
deal with cat.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, dealing with them if we choose to pay it off.
right,
I think we should choose to pay it off. All of it. And
And so how much are we gonna save for all of them? I mean, any ballpark guess?
you're looking at, do you have a ballpark figure what we're gonna save?
I didn't,
I mean, this is
It'd
an
be a lot of
auditor,
interest, a
yeah,
lot of interest.
lot of interest. You're looking at 1.65 versus
where's 1.65 coming from?
the interest.
intercap loan.
It's,
That's what they're
the
offering,
Montana loan
1.65.
program.
Oh, I got you.
So you're looking at the truck number 4 at 5.9, that's pretty high. Truck 3 at 3.43,
So it'd probably be high fours for all, all of them together.
Another thing you could do, and just, I'm not pushing it, is you could leave one out potentially that you wanted to.
I think if we're going to do that, we might as well get them all.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
saying you
just,
could do
yeah, I
some or
know you
all,
could,
yeah.
but why would you do that?
the most, if you're, I mean, the thought over the years was always, you had a balloon payment due, they wouldn't do the balloon payment, give it back, and then just, so it's basically continue to get a new one for a certain amount per
Right.
year. But if, you're not wanting to do that, then.
And continue to
fine.
have the payment on a new one, continuing the payment when we traded in a perfectly good one because we wanted a new one. Okay, I know where you're coming from, but I think
I'm just saying you could do that.
what I feel, this is how I feel, is the plan is, we've got all this new equipment, let's get it paid off, let's keep it running, let's keep it going for a few years and try to get some money back into the road fund. Because it is Baroque, is all I'm saying. And if my voice is getting a little high, it's just that I'm passionate,
Not the amount.
is all I'm saying.
You need to say no more.
I know the way you're looking at it, Paul, you're saying, hey, this is a guarantee and we can get a new one. They'll buy
No.
this back and we can get a new one, but we don't need a new one, is what I'm
No,
saying.
I'm not, I just wanted you guys to be aware of that.
Right,
I'm not saying don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you save that kind of money, that's
Yeah.
a lot of money. I mean, that's,
Well, we probably should save the money, and
so you could probably
this
take,
whole thing was probably set up for them in some
yeah,
way.
and that's what I was getting at. Just say it's guaranteed for 170,000, okay, for sure. And hell, who knows? In 4 years, it could be 230,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it could better you that way
Well,
anyway.
inflation,
If-
yeah,
if
okay,
you were
I
to trade it.
understand where
Inflation
you're
could
coming
vary.
from, but what I'm saying is, there's no money for it. Let's
No,
get
no,
this
no, I'm
paid
not.
off. And
That's
not
right.
worry about buying a new one. Let's hope that this lasts for a few years.
Okay,
is
if
what
we
I'm
have
saying.
massive inflation, it could vary this guaranteed price, wouldn't it? I mean,
Right.
because that's all they're gonna, the price of the whole machine could be way a lot more.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So we
Which
could
is-
be really good.
Which is coming, but
Yeah.
the savings and the interest are.
You're
big too.
banking on something that may or may not happen.
No, we're just talking about it could be either way.
Yeah, either way.
No, I'm all for,
No, I'm not arguing against you.
I'm all for saving.
Arguing with you.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Well, see, on like, looking at the interest rate, just for an example for that, what's this one, the 2020 excavator? Your payment, monthly payment is, what, $1,100 and you're like 300. So the first year, okay, here's one. First year, the principal amount was 13,000 and interest was 3,200. And this was interest at 3.34%. So if you wanted to figure that and say at 1.65% to see what you'd save, you're saving. And consolidating it is making all of them, is making it even that much more cheaper, is all I'm saying.
Okay, well, you want to make a motion that we get started on this? I mean,
I'd like
it's
to
not the
make a
final
motion
vote, but
to
we can start
apply
on it, and get it going.
Start on the application and you'll approve the application on the agenda.
Hmm.
Start.
Is that your motion?
I make a motion that we apply for the intercap loan to consolidate all our road equipment at a lower interest rate. And do
With
it for
inter-
5 years
With intercap.
with the, didn't I say that?
It should be said intercap.
I make a motion that we consolidate all the road equipment with an intercap loan at the rate of 1.65% for 5 years. If we can.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay.
And maybe we could figure out how much we're gonna save.
So
Well, we're
just
gonna save, but means.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
start the application process and the application will be back on. the agenda.
Any public comment? All those in favor say aye.
aye. No, I'm not arguing with you, Paul, I'm just,
Oh, I'm not arguing either. I just want to make sure that everybody knew
Yeah.
where we were at. No, I mean.
So,
you
No,
can-
I think this might be a good deal,
It's
because
gonna be-
like I said, I think inflation's gonna go sky high. And
Yeah.
so then that gap could be, that grader could be
Yeah,
so
way.
what was
than-
your oldest cat before we got,
yeah. What was that?
what was the oldest cat?
It's actually a grader.
Hmm? I mean, what year was it that you got rid of for the 2019?
Oh, I'm not even sure. It was old.
Yeah.
It was,
But still usable,
and no, it was wore out.
okay, but
was-
wore out,
It
we
needed-
had it for what, like 20 years, easy if not more.
If not more.
Yeah, I don't even know for sure how
Yeah.
long.
I mean, they were old.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, bubble gum together,
But you
baling
wouldn't-
wire and bubble gum.
Yeah, I mean, these are fantastic machines we have now, for God's sake.
Oh, yeah, they made all the difference in the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you're doing the maintaining process right here in the shop and.
we do it all in the
Yeah,
shop.
you're
Yeah,
doing
we
all the
send
shop,
all our
keeping
oil
it,
samples in.
keeping it pretty and oil changed. and- so-
Well, the big stuff you can't do. I mean, if some,
Right, no, anything big's gotta go to cat. They're, as far as the regular maintenance and stuff, that's all. we do.
Are they, any of them still under the cat warranty or is that?
Yeah, and that was the big thing, yeah, and two are. See, we got rid of the two old, super old ones and kept the newer ones, you know.
well, we got the motion and everything. We're going on that. Let's all think about it in the meantime. And I can read this better and we can figure out that. And if anybody has any hangups,
Right, right, understand.
talk about it next week.
Sounds like a plan. I'll let you
Good,
guys
thanks.
move on.
Okay,
See you later.
thank you,
thanks.
Paul.
Yep, you guys have a good day.
You want it on the agenda next week then? Jay?
Yeah.
What,
Next week or the next
what do
week?
you want us to find out about it? You want to know what it's actually saving?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know. We're gonna save a
Yeah.
lot, I
And
think.
if it's fixed, fixed, but yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
just,
it's fixed.
you know, I'm really scared about this inflation thing too.
Yeah.
so
Right.
I think we
But,
could be,
but what I'm saying,
yeah.
Is the equipment should last for more than where we wouldn't have traded in, so,
They'll always offer you the deal.
yeah,
later
they're always
on
gonna offer a deal, always,
with the
to get your business. And like this one, where I see it is, okay, they're gonna give us 168,000 back to put on a new one.
Okay, we gotta move to Georgetown Lake. And it's slowly going up, but 24.36 now. It was 24.83, I think, last week,
4-7.
Huh? Something like that.
That as of yesterday,
Yeah,
today.
So is it kind of a good thing that it isn't frozen yet and we're getting moisture?
yeah. Really good thing.
Yeah, so we want.
As
the
far as
moisture
the
before
fish
it
guys
freezes.
say, that if it froze over, then the fish start.
Yeah.
Looking for oxygen and not much depth there.
Yeah, so there has to be like a certain amount of space between the water and the ice or something.
No,
No?
no.
They're just saying,
They're saying now, I mean, the oxygen is in the air and it'll oxygenate the water,
sold off.
but. So it's good, it's not frozen. Not
Yeah,
good, it's not
Yeah,
going up.
yeah, it wasn't yesterday, just around that. More thing that
Up at the,
or that, what is it, where they pull in their boats?
at the,
My
the
senility
Georgetown
is
Lake,
kicking in.
um,
That one Moose place, is it called Moose something?
on
They,
this side, or
on
was
this side.
Marina?
yeah, Moose Marina was just kind of around the edges there. And the eagles and the blackbirds and we're looking for,
Anyway, so I'll make the motion, we stay as we are.
okay, I'll second it.
Any public comment? All in favor, say
I,
aye. Aye.
It's a big old ramp.
Well, that was 24.1.
24.36. Well, that's a good idea. You put it on there.
Yeah, so I remember for next.
Right next to my car.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna go into a closed session. If somebody's here.
Going.
Hi. How are you guys?
Here's a pen. Well, I stole that one earlier. The seventh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, how could I forget?
Okay, we don't have much time on this, so I'm gonna get going while you guys sign
You,
in.
come up here if you like.
Yeah, we could come up.
Yeah, whoever's gonna talk, if you're gonna talk, you might come up here. This is a time for the resolution approving ballot issues for primary election on June 7th in regards to local option excise tax for non-medical marijuana and medical marijuana for sales in the county. I'm gonna come out right out now and say I'm opposed to this. I thought about it for 2 weeks. It hit me by surprise 2 weeks ago, actually. And at that time, I thought, well, medical marijuana, yeah, it's gonna go through anyway. And I got to thinking, it's medical marijuana. Is that medicine? Well, why are we gonna tax medicine? We don't tax medicine down here. So I'm gonna be against
The medical.
the medical, probably for sure. The other one, at this time, I don't think it's appropriate because it could have an influence on the vote. So if you have the vote for recreational marijuana and then you have the vote, well, do you want to put an excise tax on recreational marijuana? Some people will think that, oh, the county is gonna make a lot of money let's do this. And I don't think that's right. So I think it should be later. Obviously, other people think the same way. And so
So
if you
you've
want,
got
if you want to
6
say something,
months that January 1st, the, they're going to what? Not pay Blaine, they won't be paying any tax on it anyway.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they're, yeah, correct.
So you're gonna
Yeah.
find
Yeah,
out
there's the-
June 2nd whether or not we're gonna tax or not tax. Here's the thing. If the marijuana thing does pass, that means there's gonna be a tax. The tax thing is issue is already there and they'll go from the time it's allowable. The one thing too about this, what was said, Billy, when if this should pass, they can take it to court and say because Granite County has already approved the marijuana on the first ballot, and now you're just asking for dispensaries, they might be able to come back. How's that go? How'd that work?
yeah, but the legislature changed that. So they said that the county could make their own rules basically for recreational marijuana. So I mean,
So you're
that,
gonna
you
find
can
out,
take it
June-
toward you
you're
want.
gonna find out June 2nd, whether or not it's passing. There's 3 ballot issues. You're gonna find out June 2nd. So if that passes, you don't have those other 2 ballots, then you have to turn right around and go to the general election and put it on. Is that what you want?
Exactly. Okay, is there any, is that your comment?
Hmm?
That's your, okay, any public comment? Here,
I'll try and be brief too, although it's part of the work that we put in over the summer to collect 400 some
oh,
signatures.
could you say your name first?
I'm sorry, Rick McGill, live out at East Fork. The 400 signatures that we collected to place this issue on the ballot to prohibit recreational marijuana. commercial sale of
Dispensaries,
recreational.
yeah.
There's 400 people, you know, right away, who are gonna be against the marijuana issue.
There's also 2,000 registered voters, so you can't use that as, hey, this is 400 people are gonna vote no.
It's to give you an indication of what the.
That's a percentage, that is just a percentage of the
Understood.
registered voters that.
Understood. And that's just the percentage that we
Right.
were able to contact. There's a lot more that are gonna have the ballot right in front of them when they come to vote. So our point is that by putting the issue of a tax right on the same ballot as prohibiting commercial
You
sales.
feel that the person is going to say, hey, there's tax on this, so we'll let the dispensaries be here.
part of it-
That's what you're saying,
They
right?
could say, well, yeah, I might vote against it, but boy, the county's gonna be able to make a lot of money off this. Well, maybe it is worth, it's gonna have some influence on their.
Blaine,
decision.
what's your feeling on this?
You know, I think there could be some thought on that. I don't know if that's totally gonna sway the vote, but putting it in November potentially be fine too. I mean, it would allow the voters to vote. Medical marijuana, a lot of people are playing games with it, and it's recreational, so I think ultimately it should be taxed, but does it need to be on this ballot? I have no issues with it being.
So this is the first reading. Then I would think that people would have a chance, like you people came in and said, we don't want those on the ballot, to come in and say, we do want them on the ballot. Right?
Yeah, they can,
Yeah,
sure. I mean, next week we'd put it, it's gonna be back
Yeah.
on the agenda. No, does somebody else want to talk?
I was just saying that I just feel that if people vote yes or no,
State your name.
my name is Heidi Hinkle, East Fork also. If people say vote yes or no, whether they want to allow recreational marijuana in this county sold. And then they have another vote for 3%, possibly a 3% tax on their marijuana. It's almost saying to me, you're gonna lose anyway, so we'll just go ahead and get the tax through. I really feel this should be held until after the vote on what the people want of this county. Because if this county votes, no, yes, we want to prohibit, then what's the use of having that sales tax on the ballot at that time? Because then it's just.
Well, then it just fails.
Yeah, but the fact is, I really feel that we worked really hard. I mean,
Exactly, you worked hard, but that has nothing to
then now
do
you
with
guys are
that
coming
ballot.
out
You
with
worked
this.
hard on getting the dispensary.
Hey, let her
to
talk.
come in.
Don't
Um,
argue with her. You don't need to argue with
I'm just trying to say.
This
that I
is
feel-
all you guys coming in here and deciding that you don't want it on here. Go ahead.
Well, we do want it on there. If it fails,
You
go
don't-
ahead and
yeah,
put it
You don't
on
want the tax on
the
Good.
same time. But if it fails, then put it on in November.
it. Okay,
I
what you're
have nothing
saying
against
is,
the tax at all.
this is the first reading, then we should have public opinion from
it.
people.
So let's
that
get
feel
it out
should
in the
be on
open.
there.
How much, say they sell $100,000 worth of recreational marijuana down there? Or where? How much would the county get?
It doesn't matter.
How much would the
It
county get?
doesn't matter.
Yes, it
does
does.
not matter.
Yes, it does.
The reason
I-
is.
hey,
is-
I'm
oh,
asking
not
you.
gonna argue with you. I'm not arguing.
It's
with you.
$3,000.
I'm not arguing.
$100,000 worth would be $3,000 for
would
this
help.
county.
Yes.
What would that pay for?
That would help something.
Something,
matter.
what?
So you're gonna go, I'm not gonna argue with you on this. This is really something that I understand you guys, I understand your feeling. I understand how hard you worked to get this on the ballot. We're getting it on the ballot. We felt that we needed a tax on it to get on the ballot. I understand that if you feel people are going to assume, okay, I'm gonna vote for it because it's gonna bring money to the county, which it isn't gonna bring that much, and we know that already. I mean, that, we know that, but there still should be a tax on it. I understand.
We agree
there's
with that.
still-
We
let me
agree.
finish.
Yeah,
There
we-
still should be a tax on it, okay? If Blaine, if you feel that we shouldn't have it on this ballot, the June ballot, have it on the general ballot, but it needs to be on the ballot, not because we only get 3,000, because there needs to be a tax on it.
exactly. If it passes, I will be for it.
Yes,
So what you're saying is that this reading, let's have the second reading, let's have people come in that want to say, hey, we want this on there. It's their right, correct? I mean, I understand where you guys are coming from, but I also want it known that it needs to be on the ballot. We need to put it on the ballot,
Not
if
this.
not June in,
Exactly.
yeah, we
I
have
totally agree with
no
you.
issue with that at all.
Just a quick comment though. I think you're lowballing yourself with 3%. I understand that the state's already putting 20% on it.
you can't
And-
put any more than 3%.
Is it,
Yeah, it's
where's the limit come from?
the statute, yeah. the
Is it
statute, yeah.
listed that way?
Yeah. So maybe they could change that, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're bound, county increase on our own.
Okay. So, yeah, it happens in November, at least you know whether or not, if the ballot issue passes in June to prohibit or commercial sale, then you'll save yourself some money in November by,
How would you save yourself some money?
if the ballot issue in June to prohibit recreational sale, commercial sale in Grant County passes, and commercial sale of recreational marijuana is prohibited.
The ballot issue is just a ballot issue. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money to put it on the ballot.
Saying,
I'm just saying, it's no big deal.
it may be a moot point, but
Oh, okay, is there any other comments then?
Can I just ask why this tax was,
where did it come from?
yeah, where'd it come from? I mean, we understand there has to be a tax, but I'm just wondering, why did they want it on the same with the issue?
This was something that was just brought up, and it was mentioned that we need to, if this doesn't pass, we need to make sure there's a tax on it.
You know,
So I understand where you're coming from, where it's not really good to have it on the same thing because it might confuse people and they'd vote for it.
right,
It just needs a tax on it.
That's
It was
only
just,
thing we're
just a
saying.
proposal to have people come in and give your comments, so yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
coming in, yeah. I think, I mean, the people in this room are probably, a lot of them are probably vote for the tax, but yeah, the timing of it is an issue.
yeah, it's the timing, I think, that's the issue. It's not the tax at all. It's just letting the people speak what they want. and then go from there for the next election.
And this was just something that we brought forward thinking that there has to be a tax on it.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's a good
Yeah.
idea, but
More comments, more,
Well, actually,
we're not, want to come up here because they can't hear on Zoom.
I'm Tammy Candich, and I signed the petition to get it on the ballot. And and maybe Blanche, you've already answered my question. Is it another group like ours that is proposing the 3%
Oh, I don't know.
tax?
No, there's no group proposing. This would come from the commission.
Oh, I see.
See, the commission has to get it on the ballot for the people to decide whether or not there's gonna be a tax or no tax on it. So this was decided to put it with the issue that we don't want any distribution centers in Granite County. So I understand where you're coming from. It could be confusing. People will look at it. But Blaine, didn't we feel that we needed to get it on the ballot?
Well, or at least, get it on the
Yeah.
agenda to discuss and yeah, I'm for the tax.
And
But,
then we
but I guess for at least the voters to decide on it. So
And
at some
I
point.
would be in favor of putting it on the November, and then I will certainly sign, vote for.
So, and it'd be unnecessary should the distribution, but then you don't know about that if they can turn around and come back on us because initially Granite County
Yeah.
passed.
I
the
think that
marijuana.
if they bring the lawsuit, I think that'll fail because I think the statute is, but there's always a chance that it will be litigated.
But the commission did decide as a commission that we want to tax it.
Wait, Vince, yeah, whatever.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding where you're coming from. You don't want it on this.
Exactly.
Understandable, but it has to go on if. So, yeah,
And the statute provides that the county commission can call for the election or it could be done by petition, so either way.
Okay, any more public comment?
thank you.
you're welcome.
Seeing
Thank you.
none, we're
Don't
done.
mind me, I get a little loud when I'm passionate here.
Me too.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome, thank you.
Thanks for
Are
coming
we
in.
okay? Do you guys understand where we were coming from and why we were
Oh,
doing it?
oh, yeah, it was just a timing issue of,
Yeah.
of
You're right,
cart before the horse, like, you don't even know if you're gonna have
yeah.
anything to tell us.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you so much.
Is there anybody on Zoom that wants to comment?
Oh, any comments on Zoom? Forgot.
So, and that is understandable, but we weren't even thinking about that when we made the resolution. 'Cause we're just trying to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So what,
Yeah, it was a good, it's good
Will you be in the
comments.
same predicament though, if this for the dispensaries fails and it goes back on in November?
What's that?
there'd be, that's the one thing that we'd need to talk about in case it ever, if they turned it, that there'd be a tax on it.
If you have the tax in place, then if dispensaries go in and out of being allowed, then the tax will apply when it's allowed. So you can have that tax in place, but I can see.
Can we,
I don't actually wait till-
can we change this resolution to the November election
Yes.
with this first reading? If we don't get any comment from people wanting it on the June ballot, can we change it to?
I would,
Or would we just,
what I would do is have a reading next week and then decide then, and then if you're gonna change it to November, have 2 more readings.
We can do that.
Yeah.
so if there's no interest, if no one comes up and says anything saying that they want it on the ballot, then fine. Okay, gotcha. I'm good with it.
Okay, sound good. Now we're on Lower Willow Creek Irrigation District Dam Repair
You guys have your.
Funding.
MOU.
discussion.
You guys-
What?
You guys missed the MOU.
The MOU
The MOU. with
on the agenda.
DHHS.
Oh, yeah, forgot. Now we're on the MOU.
Oh, that's something else on the agenda? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want us to go sit back there?
No.
Yeah, yeah, they stay there.
Okay.
Let's take a
It's really
second.
bad.
MOU with Montana Department of Health and Service Child and Family Services Division for occasional use of public health office in Drummond. Discussion and decision. Did you read it?
Yeah,
Do you have any problems with it?
I think it's fine,
I thought it was fine too.
yeah.
Yeah, CPS wanted to use that public health building a little bit and we'll work it out with Jack.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's available when they need it, then I make a motion that we let the MOU with MTDPHHS use the public health office in Drummond for occasional family services.
Okay, I will second that motion. Is there any public discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we're on.
Now it's quick.
Lower Willow. State your name.
My name's Rex Radke. I'm chairman of the board for Lower Willow Creek Irrigation District. We have, the dam was built in the 60s and we don't have a problem yet with, we call it a tow drain. It's actually a modified sheet drain, if you want to call it that, on the lower side that was installed during the installation of the dam. That is a corrugated steel pipe that has an asphalt covering. You know, we do our due diligence on it and look at it quite often. And we've gotten some remote control devices out of Texas to go as far as we can. It is showing age. It's dam safety is not overly concerned about it right now, but we are. And we filed with the state and got a RRGL grant through them. And then we've also gotten a fairly big grant from Army Corps of Engineers for fixing this. We're still in the planning stages of that, but we need to get a loan through the bank. Hopefully it's Neck Creek Valley construction loan. So as our bills come in, we've got money to pay our bills and then file for our grants to receive the monies back. So we are affiliated with the county. We are an irrigation district. And I guess I was just letting you guys know that we're going to be bringing monies in and money's going out of our account.
Yeah,
And
I told him
Vicky's-
it would be a good idea just to come up and say, this is what we're gonna do, and
So would you be able to could you raise their taxes a little bit for more revenue coming in with that district?
that's up to them whether
We
they
set
wanna
our
do
own.
so. Yeah, so they set their
Or
own.
you just want to
yeah.
get a loan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're
Did
just
get a
gonna
loan.
go through and
Is
because they
this-
have the grant money and stuff, and so that's gonna pay for it when bills are submitted, but they
Okay,
need to
so
pay them.
you have a loan that your grant money is going to cover completely. So what's coming through and going out, or
It should
I was
be
just
like-
wondering if this was an ARPA thing? If
No.
this was infrastructure, if
No.
anything, we
No,
couldn't
this is
use
all
it.
on their own, no.
no, I mean,
No, could it
could
be?
use
Oh.
money for this, is what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
really, I mean,
we-
it, with, no, the
We don't need
infrastructure, not ARPA, the
Yeah,
infrastructure
ARPA.
The
bill.
infrastructure one, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at some ARPA funding also for some different projects, but no, this is gonna be covered by RRGL, the coal tax severance tax.
Okay,
The Montana does every 2 years and gives grants out. And we have also got a $200,000 loan through them if we need it. At the time, we didn't know the Army Corps of Engineers was gonna come up with almost $500,000.
the only reason I ask this is if there was infrastructure where you could get and you wouldn't have to borrow money, would,
This essentially is, we're not borrowing.
We're
money yet.
essentially not borrowing, it's
Okay.
just a construction.
you're
loan.
doing
It's
it
a-
to,
It's a revolving
Okay.
line of credit.
The grant is reimbursable.
But tell you what,
so-
think about it, if there's anything else that you might need down
Mhm.
there, for
Yeah.
the
and we-
infrastructure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got Triple
Hmm.
Tree working on a couple of our
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh,
we
that
are
the
looking
county
at
would?
yeah, if we
Oh,
can
awesome.
apply for this to
Okay.
get it through that infrastructure thing.
Well, we don't know
right
for
away.
sure, but we think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
on on both our irrigation districts, things were an irrigation district with Willow Creek. And then Flint Creek Water Users, which runs East Fork. We are state entities, so we can apply ourselves and don't need to piggyback on anybody.
Well.
So,
Sound good?
yeah.
Yeah, just
So-
kind of wanted to let you know on what
You
was
go.
going on, so,
You go.
yeah.
Good luck.
Okay,
Okay, all
thank
right,
you.
Good
thanks,
job.
guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Jack, keep it straight.
Yeah.
She's gonna try.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we caught up and now we're gonna go off for until 10:15. Okay, now it's time for Montana Department of Commerce Big Sky Economic Development Trust Fund Program Contract. Blah, 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 discussion of decision. What do we have here?
And this is where they emailed Billy and asked it to be tabled because they still have
Okay.
things that they have to rewrite it.
Hmm,
So it's not really ready to present to us at this
So-
time.
I'll make the motion to table it.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're off till 10:20. Okay, now's the time for Montana Distributors and Janssen opioid settlement memorandum of understanding, discussion and decision. Wayne?
So there was basically another class action where the states and other entities sued Janssen and other their distributors here. And there's gonna be a settlement, and then the way it's gonna be done, looking at the agreement, is that there'll be, the state will get the money, they'll set up an advisory committee, and then they'll divvy out the monies. The page 11 talks about where it goes. It'll be 15% allocated right to the state of Montana fund, 70% to abatement trust, for the opioid remediation, 15% to local governments. So we'll get some direct, but most of it will go to this trust. I'm assuming it'll be kind of like a grant program, but I don't know that they decided that, but it's monies that could be potentially used here, so
Are all the counties in on this or?
I think they got this the same time as us, so they're probably in the process, but I assume they're all, gonna be part of it.
So they have it on the last on exhibit B. Looks like they have the list of the counties, or is it all of them?
Yeah, oh yeah, if they participate,
Yeah.
They don't have to.
So is this the percentage of what each county would get on exhibit B?
So, yeah.
Cut and dried, black and white?
It's money, you don't have to do anything.
So this is a percentage we get, like 0.1831.
But there could be a lot of settlements, probably gonna be, your question is gonna be the other monies coming to that trust, so that's really the direct.
It's chilly in your office.
It's fine.
Stay
I got
away.
flannel. Are you cold?
No, I feel.
You got a good
Okay.
sweatshirt on. That's a cheap sweatshirt.
Banana Republic. I love this sweatshirt. I don't want this.
You should pull the trigger on that one.
It might be on the
Christmas
but-
list?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Thanks, there.
Okay, well, I guess we're back on. No, we're still. Duh. So, we need a motion to accept this MOU, right?
So what? Is this just an informational thing
You,
or?
they need a motion to approve it, then we can go on page 19, talks about going on their website to register.
So I'll make the motion to approve the MOU with the Montana Department of Montana Distributors and Janssen Opioid Settlement Memorandum of Understanding.
I second.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 So is that something we have to go online and
Yeah, I'll do
apply
it.
for? Okay.
Yeah, so go on and register. And then there's
So
a,
is that something little Miss Billy has to do
I can do it.
or blame our wonderful county attorney?
She can worry about him. I'll worry
I'll
about
worry about
opioids.
M's and opioids.
Okay, we're off till 10:35. Okay, now time for area 5, elderly care companion position reclassification description update.
So,
Been reading it, looks okay to me.
yeah. What happened is this job description was rewritten and went from a grade 6 to a grade 7. And I think that bringing it to our attention, it should be approved at a grade 7. Is that,
Yeah, I mean,
when this, bringing it to the attention of what entry level, that would be a supervisor decision. Or if they felt that entry level was too low for the experience of that person that they're interviewing, then they can surely put it at a different level. Is that what you're,
yeah. Yes.
so I think rewriting of the job description for, we should accept this new job description and change.
So is
from
it
the-
full-time?
Hmm?
Is it full-time?
No, it isn't. It's part-time.
How much part-time?
It just depends on what's needed. It's an hourly and they take care of, they go into people's homes and help them out with necessary things and it just depends on when they're needed. So, and what they're having the problems with is finding people to fill this position at a grade 6. So they were able to rewrite it to a grade 7.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, exactly. I think they've had it posted since the.
And what's the pay for the grade 7, the starting pay?
The entry level for grade 7 is $12.85.
Still not much.
Yeah.
For
And
part-
that's where
part-time, yeah.
the supervisor's position could look at the
Right,
steps and say, this
Right.
person's more qualified than entry and give them the higher salary.
so a motion to accept the upgraded. I'll make that motion to accept the upgraded position.
I'll second it. For what? Elderly care companion.
Mhm. Any public comment? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
oh, was he supposed to sign?
Fine.
Yeah, it would have been lost. You're using it for
that.
what's this?
Well, we can either wait 5 minutes or move in.
I think we move in.
Maria, you want to get started? Now it's time for Maria to stop there with Granite County Hospital for the update.
Thank you. He's not with us, but I guess we want to. Yeah.
So I'll start by going over the financial report. As you can see it outlined on that front page. Projected cash available as of the board meeting was approximately 78,153. Projected deposits through the end of the year will be approximately 587,000. If all are accounted for. Since it's the end of the year, I'm sure we will be wrapping up a larger portion of any accounts payable, so that should be around 200,000, which would leave us with a projected cash reserve of about 465,000. And the financials that we discussed at the board meeting on November 30th, I believe. The cost report was filed. That's always due by around Thanksgiving, and you will get a receivable of about $221,586,000. Restricted cash of $381,807, which we restricted last year when we received it from the last cost report.
Where you at?
Oh,
Or
not
just read it?
specifically, it's more of a summary on this part. But when they did the cost report this year, we didn't know how it was gonna turn out with COVID funds and all of that. But we are gonna get a receivable, like I said, of 221,000. So the last year's cost report that we stuck in restricted because we didn't know how this year would turn out, the board has opted to release that. What they're considering is the 13 lots across from the hospital. Should we incorporate that into a long-term strategic plan and possibly consider building housing for employees, travelers, and community? So they're looking at that now. So this last year's 381,000 is released. It's sit in our account for a while until we vet that all out. Is it feasible? What does the architect say? We're gonna get it surveyed and just.
So is this across the street
Across
where
the street where the
your,
conference garage is, the
yeah,
Kissel House.
garage?
Yeah.
And that little house, is that savable or?
You don't know yet. So they're gonna talk to the architect.
So it's where the
and say-
conference thing is now.
Yeah, conference garage, Kissel House, back to about the yurt. Okay, I think it may go downhill just a little bit towards that pink house possibly, but we're gonna have the surveyor come in and really plot that out, so we do know exactly what we have. So they're looking at that for long-term strategic plan. No decisions are made yet.
How big would it be? How many?
Right, what they're thinking is, do we start with a fourplex? Do a fourplex, but restrict it to specific lots, so that we do have potential for the other lots. Don't just plop it randomly in the middle. Just strategically look at it and say, is that the right plan for the property? So more of it's in the discussion phase. We know we need housing. The hospital can't thrive unless we can get people here to work. So,
Did you ever figure out if you could rent out that little house? It's there already?
oh gosh, no.
No? What
It's-
is it, a tear down? You can't tear it down because you have a loan on it?
Well, yeah, we do have a loan on that piece of the property.
Yeah, but the house is included on it.
Yes, yeah, but it's not inhabitable currently. So mostly it's just used for storage, records, equipment, things like that. It does well for that, but I don't know, the architect will have to tell us if it's salvageable. And if it is, wonderful,
Yeah,
yeah, then we have that at least to start with. We did do our reporting on our provider relief funds from the CARES Act of 2020. And so we did account for that $2,060,000. So we don't have to pay any of that back. We've accounted for all the expenses, everything that was appropriate for it. So that piece is wrapped up. So we will have to report on additional funding that we got through HRSA for the Rural Health Clinic Testing Program and the HRSA Testing and Mitigation Program. So those all will go until June 30th of, so far we've accounted for June 30th, 2021, but those don't wrap up until the end of the year. So we'll have to report that by December 30th. And so utilization that you'll see there on it's technically page 2. 7 of our main areas were on target with 5 off track. But our most expensive, our most high dollar areas were on track. CT scans, long-term care residents, observation, the Drummond Clinic has done well, and physical therapy has done well. October was a really good month for utilization. Year to date, we're still sitting at 7 on target. Almost all the critical areas performed well. Hospital was 11 over target, swing bed was 1 over target, ER was 9, and like I said, long-term care resident utilization was strong. On the next page, you'll see that the month-to-date revenue for October was $442,000. That revenue is down from prior month because September was a very, very strong month. So it is just shy of budget, but down from last month. And of note, all of $400 of that was direct patient revenue. And then on our profit loss versus budget and prior year, month to date and year to date, October gross revenue was 3% below budget, like I said. There were a couple of large accounts that were collected. So year-to-date gross revenue is 5% ahead of budget. It's 14% ahead of last year at this time. So that's really, really good. Okay, and then the summary of all the departments. A major issue that we were very, very concerned about was the vaccine mandate for the healthcare workers. That came down to the wire. We have 7 people who are not vaccinated, who chose not to vaccinate for one reason or another. So we were very, very concerned that we would lose those 7 people and it would interfere with our delivery of critical services. So we were very glad. We did reach out to our senators, all of our legislators, our Montana Hospital Association, and strongly asked them to please do something. And luckily, Senator Daines did come through with Attorney General Austin Knudsen, and we joined that lawsuit, and now there's a stay on that. But that issue is critical. I mean, losing 7 key staff members out of 40
Right.
could
Yeah.
potentially close our doors. Because what our thought was, if we lose these 7, there's vital services that are part of our conditions of participation. Say radiology, lab, activities, something like that. If we couldn't provide those services, we don't meet the conditions of participation. Or do we wait until they survey us and say, we didn't meet the conditions of participation because of the vaccine mandate, and then we're still at a loss. But those last 7 people are actually considering moving forward and getting vaccinated. I'm sure we won't get to 100%. That is just the way it is. But those staff members know that they have to take extra precautions.
Why doesn't anybody consider natural immunity?
That's a big question. Right. How many of our nation's populations already have natural immunity? The argument is that natural immunity wanes, just as your vaccine immunity wanes, but they don't know that for sure, and they don't have strong statistical data to support that one way or the other. I am all in favor of people vaccinating, especially the vulnerable, but I tell my staff, this is your personal choice. You decide what's right for you. So, but I do advocate, but as healthcare workers, we have always been advocates for patients' right to choose their healthcare, make their own healthcare choices. So by telling healthcare workers that we're mandated to take a form of healthcare service, it just goes against our group,
Right.
and many people's group. But I am a strong supporter of vaccination. I'm sure everyone's well aware that Pfizer's pediatric formulation is available for children ages 5 to 11, so that covers that population, although we don't carry Pfizer because of the storage requirements, but it is available through public health. The Omicron variant, I'm sure that's gonna, everyone is informed about that. We don't have enough information to know its severity, its transmissibility, and whether or not vaccines are effective against that mutated virus. We will learn more over the coming months, and I'll share whatever it is that we do learn. Since they lowered the eligibility age for vaccination, Montana's vaccination rate has now dropped to 37%, with more people being eligible. Before, your eligibility was 12 and up, and now it's dropped to 5 and up, ages 5 and up. So now there's more people eligible. So our percent of full vaccination is now down to 37, and Montana's down from 55% to 51%. Although over the last month, we did have an increase. We did have an increase of like 1,000 doses that we gave out. So we know we're vaccinating more people, but overall that vaccination rate is down. Oh, I did want to add that I believe last month I reported that we hired Lynn Graham, a PA, to work in our hospital and clinic after Ashley's departure. But we've also hired Jessica Martin. She's a nurse practitioner who lives in Superior. She has a ranch out there. So she'll be coming in and working here as well, 2 days a week in the clinic, on call, and about 13 weekends. So you'll see her, and she's just wonderful. They're both great additions. So now our providers will actually be able to take their PTO and take some time off, because they won't be so strictly scheduled. They'll have a little leeway. They'll have backup finally. So we're really excited to welcome them into the community. You'll see them both out and about. So excellent. Any questions for me about what's going on?
How's the transfers going?
No major hiccups. We haven't transferred as many people out over the past month, so it hasn't been as, the issue hasn't come to the forefront. But so far, I've opened up communications personally with Eagle, and have worked over some of the barriers and some of the miscommunications. So
Good.
that part was helpful.
Good.
And with the volunteer ambulances?
I haven't seen them much. I mean, not that they're not responding. I won't say that, but when we've called, we've gotten a response, whether it was from Eagle or local.
So I know that sheriff was gonna make changes. Did he make changes
I believe he did. Yes.
that help you?
Yes. Yes. Anything that improves communication is really helpful. Anything else for
Good.
us? I'll keep you informed as we develop a strategic plan for the property and see what we can do.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay,
Excellent.
Hey,
thank
thanks.
Have a
you.
wonderful day. Merry Christmas.
Same to
Same
you.
See you next year. Thank you.
You will next year. Yeah. See you next year.
Okay, we're off until 11:05. Okay, we're gonna start the next one a little early here. Building permits, Granite County discussion.
I'm a local citizen, local landowner, local homeowner, and I even know a few folks. The reason I
State your name for,
Oh, I'm sorry, my name is Kent Ellis. ELLIS, my address is 169 Brook Trout Road, Phillipsburg.
that's good.
Great. Reason I sent an email to you folks and asked you about the building permit process is really it's like the crystal ball. It start to look at what's going on, and I recall very clearly this past summer, I think at one time someone told me there's 70 building projects taking place in Granite County. I went to the event over here, Christmas tree thing, and it looks like over there in Rock Creek, they're putting in, someone said maybe 60 sites. And you have more sites going on. And what comes to my attention is the county's slight in staff, the ability to get real estate appraisals and taxation correct. And the idea that we're getting builders coming in from all over. When I ran into a builder the other day who broke down, he was from Darby. And why he was building here, I have no idea, but all the ones here are busy. I see him coming from Missoula. And my concern is that the county is having a boom and it's not going to go away. And we see these big places breaking up. And at the same time, as the county learns of these building sites and projects. I have one near me that the house was on the site, everything is good, and then you put what I call, what realtors call a hoe barn, a home and a barn together, about 6,000 square feet. And it's basically off the grid, so to speak, in that you as a county wouldn't know that building had been put on place, because what you have in your records is the prior 2 or 3 bedroom home that was there. Now they've exponentially grown the site, exponentially grown the investment value, and use the same sewer system. Well, the sewer system was set up for the house for 2 or 3 bedrooms as a vacation home. Now they're putting in a hoe barn and adding, more demand upon a sewer system that's built on rock shale. So a lot of things will slip through the crack. A lot of things will be.
Sewer system, is it in town?
No, I'm sorry.
No,
septic
there's
system.
their personal
My poor use of words, but
septic
that-
system.
that septic, yeah, the septic system. But that's the question. That's going to prevail. That's going to be prevalent in many sites and areas around the county without a building permit process. The process is the burden of the builder and of the developer, the person who's having it done. It needs to cover the idea of what's the conceptual design, what's the sewer design, has it been approved by the Chad over there? What's the road access? What's the fire mitigation? And lastly, I know this sounds not important, but I think it really is do they have a weed program for beginning and ending? Because hitchhikers ride on construction vehicles and they are traveling the county, traveling the state to work on these projects. I just ran into a guy taking drywall off a Home Depot truck up the hill here because the truck can't get up the hill. And he says, well, I'm from Missoula, I do drywall over here. Hitchhikers. So that's my concern, is I think Granite County is mature enough now, and we're seeing mature things happen, that the assessor needs some help. How do you know when something's being built? I would say she probably is dependent upon.
We actually don't have an assessor, it's
Oh.
the Department of Revenue.
Oh, the Department of Revenue.
The Department of Revenue pulled out of our courthouse a few years back. And
Okay.
so we do have a local person that is Department of Revenue that goes out and sees this. We
Okay.
have. Also, they need an address, so we have our maps mapping who notifies any addresses. Did you do any research on this at all?
I didn't really do any research on it, but I did talk to the Department of Revenue because there are rumblings that the Department of Revenue is actually going to require counties to have building permits. And this is something that it's just rumblings of right now that will likely be legislated through the next legislative session. And that's kind of as much as I was able to.
So implementing something like this is not going to be cheap. I mean, you're going to have to hire someone to probably do this, and this research would, if they're DOR is going to make it happen, then it'd be the DOR's responsibility to do the building permits, I would think, instead of putting the cost on to the county.
And like I said, it's rumblings as of.
It's
right now.
rumblings, right, understandable. We looked into this a few years ago and found out that it was so expensive and there were so many hoops to jump that it wasn't feasible at this time. So we rely on the good neighbor policy where you saw them putting this stuff in, call the Department of Revenue, hey, they're doing all this. Come check it out. I mean, this kind of thing is what we have our DOR person, which we did have an office here, is local and she lives here. She's a Granite County resident, so.
And I concur with you. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I would say you're spot on. I would say in 2022 and going forward, we've seen a tremendous amount of change.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, 3 years ago, I could call Nick Walden and ask him to build a house for me, 4 years ago, and he said, sure, I put you on the schedule. Today, if I called Nick Walden, it's 3 years out. And that's not unusual, uncommon. And I'm back again to, before we were fairly self-reliant upon what we did. Now, we're reliant upon what assets can come from other places to satisfy the bills. It's changed.
Yeah.
And all I'm suggesting is, I'm sure the DOR and the state, they recognize the need for that. I don't believe the state and the DOR is gonna, not pass on the burden. They'll legislate they require you to do so. That wouldn't surprise me at all. We may not see it in Macomb County, but in Granite, it's a little bit different, just because of the Southwest Washington attraction, or Southwest.
Does anybody know how many counties don't have building permits?
I asked this yesterday when I talked to the DOR. What was it? I feel like he did give me a straight answer on how many counties don't have building permits, but he did say there were quite a few that don't have building permits, and the majority that don't are rural communities like Granite County. And the reason that they've kind of been looking into this is because so many of these rural counties, it's just with the building boom through COVID, it's impossible to pick up how much is being built and how many off-grid.
So your query would be better to hit the clerk and recorders and ask them if there's building permits.
For the counties?
Yeah,
One thing here though is, Map Pierce
Yeah,
is getting
yes.
all the new builds.
He is,
He's here and.
so I can see where he does, he gets the address, but like you're saying, this person is improving it, and so.
Yeah, the improvement, that could be, yeah. There are the sanitation regs that
Yeah,
still apply, so
Yeah.
there are. the sanitation
and like with
regs.
weed, we have a weed fund, and you talk with the county agent on the weeds, and this is districts that get together, like your neighborhood group will get together and apply for grants to spray
Right.
for weeds.
It's just been my experience. I have seen, I know of right now 3 sites that the home is on the site, and now another home is being built on the site with children and family, whatever the heck it is, or just expanding. And that's within a mile where I'm.
Right.
And so if I take my mile and expand it into Granite County's population, there's a lot. There's a lot
And
more.
you see this.
Well, I
with
can
the-
see where there might be a problem.
Yeah.
There might be a problem with other contractors coming in and, you don't know what they're doing. I happen to know.
Yeah, electrical and plumbing are the 2 things that I concern myself with. I'm sorry. But electrical and plumbing are the things that I, and safety, fire mitigation. Because from your fire experience, that we had the fire up there at Willow Creek, and the issue was, when it gets to home, all your assets to fight the fire turn to fight protecting homes, because people want to grow a juniper next to their house. And it's just an inflammatory tree and just wait to blow up. So that's just, I think what I'm doing is asking, take a look at the crystal ball and see what it looks like, because this is going to go away.
And like I said before, this isn't the first time that building permits hasn't been brought up.
Okay.
And when we had our assessor, she talked building permits because you'd find them a lot faster. And it's just the implementation and it's the cost. So
I don't know, and I guess I would ask is how many counties west of Billings do not have permits requirements?
I would have to look.
Yeah, I would say probably most, I'd say most of our problem, most of the ones that don't are the eastern Montana rural areas.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're still considered rural, correct? I understand what you're saying, Ken.
Tell me,
Oh, I know
I'll
I
rat,
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'll rat.
Things are changing, you're right about that.
Well,
My biggest concern with these is everybody wants to put an alarm on these places, that's what we have the issues, problems with.
Yeah.
And I actually have an policy after we call you 2 times and you tell us that you know that your alarm malfunction, we're not responding to that.
Yeah.
We're just not gonna do it.
You wanna come up here
Well, the,
so we can hear you?
the electrical permitting, the
Sorry.
state sends, inspect, yeah, but there could be other issues where there wouldn't be things inspected.
I was just saying, Blanche, that after 2 or more false alarms at these, because everybody's alarming these new houses out in the middle of nowhere. And then want us to respond when a chipmunk runs across the windowsill, or they know that their alarm's malfunctioning, like we had the other day. And I just told the homeowner, I'm not responding to that. Because I didn't have the deputy help to do it for starters, so.
And I was told,
So would this help? I mean, like having,
I don't know if you can put something in that building permit process that if they have an alarm system, you add an additional fee, or I don't know. Because we do spend, the county spends a significant amount of money responding to all these alarms. That's why I implemented the policy 2 or more false alarms. You can get your private security company to respond. We're not responding.
and maybe that's part of the building process. If you have a private, you have to have a connection to your private security firm. It is not the county's burden to respond to the chipmunk on the window.
Snow slides off the roof, you name
Yeah.
it, it sets them off, you know.
I was told, and Samson, please correct me if I got the names wrong. Just Samson, just over the hill, the Bornstein property.
Samson.
Since,
Yeah, I think that they're planning 60 sites,
playing what?
60 home sites,
Yep, that's what I heard. It's next to me.
okay?
Is that a rumor or is that fact?
That's what's been put
I've
around.
heard
That's,
Well,
the
see, and then you
excavation
see,
started.
in this instance, you see a survey come. I mean, they can't just plan these sites and not survey it out.
Yeah, it's surveyed, they got a rock pit over there.
And it
they
has to
make
be
a rock.
put of record, so there's a bell right there that's ringing when it comes of record, okay, what's this? It goes to it has to be addressed,
What,
so, yeah, I mean, all this stuff, we have implemented, we have implemented. We have people that whatever we can do is getting done right now. But you're correct in the fact that a building permit would be great, but it's the fact that, so what would the fee be and who would pay the fee, and would that cover the cost of hiring someone to do all the grunt work for the permits? So it just, yeah.
I don't know if they do the grunt work as much as they have the permit come to them. They have to issue it. It's a clerical position. If you don't issue it, obviously it's not, 40-hour week job.
Right, and
But
it's the
it is-
revenue
but it's
good.
employment here. And it would work rather nicely for, go look at the site, okay, your site's, you put whatever, you post it up there. I think you have to post your permit. But it's an inevitable thing that as we add 100 homes or we add population, because it influences everything. It influences roads. We were talking roads earlier. It influences the demands upon those security services and the demands upon the police services, like the sheriff's services. All I'm saying is, it'd be nice if we started to look at what would a permit in Granite County look like, and what should it encompass, and process, and what's it mean for revenue? Because it should mean something for revenue if,
Right.
where you have double homes on one site. It should be an absolute impact. So that's all I'm throwing out. It just, I'm not an old timer here, but I do keep my eyes open. And, I don't have 10 generations family in Granite County, but my mom was born in Superior. So I always, that's all. I'm just looking at it from a different set of eyes.
No, and this was good to be brought. I mean, this is something that a little more research, just maybe talking to the DOR, and even talking to Julie Goebel, who is our local person, to see how she feels. And this, yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just
No.
that can we afford thing.
But, and are you missing revenue because of the double sites? And are you
One
creating?
thing about missing revenue, I must say, is that she's pretty good. And she's got some good neighbors that rat out their neighbors saying they're good.
Well, I think Matt Pearson would talk the mapping.
Yeah, well, his given addresses, he has to give them an address. And so then we know about it. It's notified right here in Granite, right at the courthouse.
He notifies the county planner, so he
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah.
everyone in the loop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, doesn't, county planner doesn't miss things either. She's pretty aware.
No, and Linda's good. I just throwing it out because I
Right.
do see it. And sometimes if they do, we'll say address 100A or 100B, they may not be picked up because we don't get mail delivery to sites. We get,
But they have to have an address for electricity.
Or unless they tie to, in my business, you have the parent and then the child, so to speak, and they're tied to the same number sometimes. I don't know the problem. And if they go solar, you don't have it. It's the new age. It really is. I've got people that don't have Blackfoot because they can't get it to them. So they go to a satellite. No record of that. And I just remodeled a cabin and it was set up to be off grid, run on generator.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, no, it's very,
as the sheriff said, rural, but not. We got a ski mountain and a brewery. We're getting past that.
I think we'll put it on the agenda again for next year sometime, in the winter.
try to get the
And then
research done.
we
on
can
it
think
and
about
see-
it like-
Yeah,
Like everything else, I
Yeah.
like to think about it for a
Yeah.
while, and we can talk to people and
Sure.
get the research
How's
out
that
there,
go?
yeah. And no, it is good thought and.
Yeah, it's not a taxation. It is really a crystal ball planning. And because it is the burden of it, 60 new homes, expectation for the sheriff, that is population growth of we'll say X number of people, and inherently 3% are your problems. You got 100 people, 3% will be a problem. It's always that way. And so we're gonna add 3% more challenges.
Remember though, on that, it'd be going through the subdivision process, so there'll be, the weed issues. So if I understand what you're saying, there's a lot of other issues besides
Yeah.
subdivision.
So that's all I want to do is throw it out as a concerned person. I like this county and you guys have a burden and every once in a while, I appreciate you giving me an ear.
Thank you.
Not just a country bumpkin.
okay,
Thank
it's
you.
been good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I've got this, yeah.
I didn't know if you're bumping.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know anything anymore.
We have hand sanitizer. I trust you.
I've got all my shots. I'll tell you what, I didn't know this. I was in hospitals in Chicago and University of Iowa. And they wanted all the shots, they wanted to see the shot card and a TB test.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going surgery, doing surgery, TB test.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we gotta-
Okay, now we're in correspondence, and the first one is Granite County Justice Court. Disbursements,
The fees
these,
that they brought in,
I'm busy, should be quite a bit.
that goes to the state.
I don't care.
second one is just what we were talking about, from Kent Ellis about the building permits.
I guess I've heard a lot of comments from people, that's part of the attractive to this area is the lack of government.
Yeah,
The government
Well, yeah,
here,
you don't have to jump through so many hoops to do whatever you think you want to do on your
Yes.
property.
I agree, but you're actually protecting people in the future with the building permits.
He's right, looking down the road.
Looking down the road,
But
yeah.
part of it,
And no, it is a good idea.
It gets too extreme, where you have the city of Missoula, where you wanna redo your fence, and have to get a
Yeah,
permit.
yeah.
And
So it gets-
I
And that's
just-
kind of ridiculous.
I
Well,
know
that's
that
where it
there,
starts,
yeah,
though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
no, there was
There's a
research
starting
done.
point.
There was research done a few years ago, looking into it because
It'd
you
be a full.
you have a hard
definitely
time
full-time
catching it. And then with the assessor being in the office and she would tell the DOR and they wouldn't go look at it. So she'd have to go look at it and tell them, and then they still wouldn't, because they didn't want to go up in the hills and look at stuff.
Hmm.
Where we have Julie who will, I mean, we don't know, she's gonna be there a few years, she's still young, but yeah, no,
I can
you're
see
right,
like
we
a-
need building.
Like a final inspection, like an overall inspection, just the one, so it's, yeah, for beginning, yeah, they build that 2 years, sell it, and you at least know that it's everything.
And I think the county planner is very knowledgeable on this too, and she probably would have some good input.
Definitely a full-time.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, can I,
you
Go
want to
again?
continue on?
the next one
He's
is,
been a bottom.
next one is Flint Creek Dam Advisory Committee minutes.
Minutes.
And that's it for correspondence.
And all this good stuff is available to people on the web, right, Billy?
Yes.
Oh, you want to see it?
And we're in public comment now.
Do you have any public comment, Sheriff?
Thought you were going to Helena this week.
I was supposed to with Sheriff Fulton today. I don't have a deputy to cover while I'm gone, so we're all working in the evening. So I don't think I'll go up and talk to the sheriffs and commissioners when we get along.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't-
Okay. You can just leave them an email and say you get along great with us. You love us. You wouldn't go that far, right?
About love. It should be a pretty good deal for me elected or whatever. They're just- Everybody understands what you can and can't do.
Well, as long as you're here, junk cars, remove them down there to your shooting range.
Did Rick McGill contact
Yeah,
you or
he
something?
called-
Because I told him it's not, I'm not even worried about it. I told Rick that the other day when I talked to him. We actually want some of the junk cars there. because we
Yeah,
use them
that's
for
what you
training.
said. Yeah, a few of them.
And he asked how often you guys get rid of them and this and that. I said, I have no idea, nor do I care. I said, you need to be careful not to put too many barriers in there for our shooting so they can still get junk cars in there though. Or that'll become a problem. So.
So,
Do you have any
but would
concerns
you
about that?
want some of them removed?
He
He was talking about, like he sees on the internet, where people will come and pay $100 to take your junk car.
Well, doesn't the county do something with BEQ
This
on that?
is,
Yeah,
this
county,
is,
um,
the junk
thing.
vehicle, they pay for the cars being hauled into the junkyard, and they're supposed to come pick them up at certain times. So I'm thinking it's the junk vehicle that has authority over those vehicles that are in there. We're just sitting, it's just sitting there. We're letting them put them there.
I didn't understand how all that worked. I don't see it as a problem for us. If it got too full, I guess maybe it could be a problem, but right now it's fine. I just told Rick, I said, where you put those barriers, they may need to keep stacking cars out there because it was my understanding they come and crush them and haul them off after they get so many of them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
But
I
like-
think it's probably been a long time since they've done that.
They did
That's
that.
one
It's
thing,
every- yeah.
that was kind of in the job description where you, I think Sarah does it now, you fill out the budget report for junk vehicle. And I think in that file, there's probably a number where you can maybe call them and say, hey, what is it that we do for the junk vehicle and
So if I need to get rid of some, I contact Billy and say, hey, if there's too many there, is
Yeah.
that what I need to do?
because, and see
BEQ
when,
is still the-
So these other people will then take care of it? The other people will take care of it.
It's
The
the
junk-
county.
We
junk-
do the budget, the people send money, it's a grant money to Granite County. And then we figure the budget for how much money we're going to need and how many junk vehicles are being hauled. And then this fund sends the money to Granite County to take care of it.
The
so it's
county has a
funded.
junk vehicle.
It's a junk vehicle fund.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
something like that with Sarah, going through that packet.
And nothing's really been done for years, I don't think, and probably we need to readdress it and say, hey, how often do you come and remove these? Cause I know there's vehicles that are put there, and was it you or was it someone that says people are going in there and taking parts and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're not, yeah, it shouldn't be. Yeah, who was putting barriers on like their own property or whatever?
No, our barriers were used for shooting,
Oh, okay.
because we shoot up there.
Oh,
We qualify and everything up there.
You point
Sites
toward the highway?
No, we don't. We shoot into the hillside most of the time. But we do use some of those cars up there for scenario-based shooting and stuff, so I think it's great to have it. He was just wondering what happens when we get too many, and I said, I have no idea.
yeah, they come and take them.
And who was
So
this?
his point though, what would be the problem with if someone would pay you to take that junk car, then they could put it in the fund or whatever?
Well, that would be
I don't
where,
think they can do that.
okay, junk vehicles already paid for them, so that vehicle's junk vehicles.
Yeah,
The DEQ's already paid for it,
yeah.
So you can't do that?
for the $100 removal fee or whatever. I
It's,
don't-
yeah, it's,
So
and
they
we
have
get that
to
money from the junk vehicle fund.
Go directly to people that have them and make the
Yeah.
offer, I think, versus they're already there.
So legally, that's what we need to find out, who legally has the right. And if somebody wants parts off it, can
Can they buy it?
Yeah.
they buy
it's-
them? But that's turning
Yeah.
into another big
It's DEQ is my understanding.
administrative thing,
Before or after
yeah,
we shoot them
yeah.
out, 'cause we're gonna-
yeah.
we like the windshields and side windows, yeah, we're shooting them out. So,
They're gonna be smashed, but I think Scott and Mr. Allen had people going in there taking things out. of it.
Yeah, cause he wanted the locks
Yeah.
changed, cause, yeah, I had to, yeah. I remember that. 'Cause it's-
Good discussion.
It was,
I don't think, yeah, I don't know about just going in there and removing them, so.
yeah,
I'd
so
like to
once they're on
continue.
private business, they can do it.
Well, the
Buy
town,
cars or
the town
whatever,
owns
you know.
that draw, right? It was state ground.
Where the dump sites at?
Yeah.
Is town Phillipsburg.
Because I talked to the mayor about us qualifying up there, nobody had an issue with it, so that's the only place we got left to shoot. We used to shoot down on Sandy Holman's, but his stepson started some kind of deal down there and they locked the gate, so. That's the best place for us to go qualify right now, we have nowhere else to go, so.
Okay. Any other public comments? Don't see any, so board minutes.
I make a motion that we approve board minutes for November 30th, 2021.
No, second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We can adjourn.
Adjourn.
Nothing going
Thank you,
on.
sir.